Here's another example of Biden clearly unable to read the room. There's something fundamentally wrong with Joe Biden. He's clearly an individual that is losing his ability to be a cognitive leader. And recently, Morehouse students showed solidarity with Gaza during Biden's commencement speech. So first, let's start off in the beginning. We have Joe Biden starting things off swimmingly well by talking about the crisis in Gaza. Take it away, Joe Biden, because don't worry, he's going to get owned by a student.
What's happening in Gaza and Israel is heartbreaking. Hamas's vicious attack on Israel, killing innocent lives and holding people hostage. I was there 9 days after. Sent pictures of tying a mother and a daughter in a rope, pouring kerosene on them, burning them, and watching as they died.
He was there. Joe Biden was there. Him telling the truth is an anathema. He claims that he saw pictures. He saw the pictures. He saw pictures. Well, the students weren't having it, especially this one valedictorian right here.
It is my stance as a Morehouse man, nay, as a human being, to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
And there's Joe Biden clapping in the background, not able to read the room.
Hear the people of this world sing the song of righteous justice. Thank you.
And this young man, I salute him 100%. Well done for speaking out. And again, here is Joe Biden looking confused. He seems like he doesn't know where he's at. Another sad example of Joe Biden clearly out of his element. I want to play another video here from Morehouse University talking about the crisis in Gaza. Let's go ahead and play it.
Head down. And I know some of y'all don't agree like me. It's all right when you preach your sermon, preach it the way you want to preach it. But today I'm going to preach mine the way God told me to preach it. Yeah. When the United States continues to send billions of dollars to fund weapons to Israel, it'll make you hold your head down. When almost 35,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, while 1,200 people have been killed in Israel, it'll make you hold your head down. When institutions who taught us to be socially conscious turn and ask for us to become conveniently silent, it'll make you hold your head down. When just this past week, a fourth grader dies by suicide because of bullying, revealing our nation is in the midst of a mental health crisis. And prayers and church alone will not heal every mental illness. We need Christ and a couch, theology and therapy, meditation and medication. It'll make you hold your head down. When we see peaceful protesters attacked and carried away like animals, all while some others with the complexion for the protection are taken by Burger King after murdering 9 people in Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina, it'll make you hold your head down. On the 70th anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education this weekend, schools in black and brown communities received $23 billion less than schools in white neighborhoods. It'll make you hold your head down.
So I want to pull up this article here. Morehouse students show solidarity with Gaza during Biden commencement speech. So advisors for U.S. President Biden reportedly saw Morehouse College, a historically black men's college in Atlanta, where he gave the commencement address Sunday, as a school where the president was unlikely to face protests over his continued support for Israel's assault on Gaza. Boy, oh boy, did they miss the mark on that one. which has been the subject of mass demonstrations led by students at universities across the country over the past months. But students and faculty made clear at the ceremony that many of them, like others in higher education, are intent on sending Biden a strong message of disapproval over his Israel policy. Oh no, vote blue no matter who. Unfortunately, Black people are not going to just fall in line. See, the Democratic Party views all of its voters as expendable. What do I mean by this? Well, look at how the Democratic Party has treated Black voters. Okay, look at how they've treated Black communities. They say things that people want to hear. Everyone would agree with, better schools, more investing into the community, jobs programs, and all of that. And as soon as the Democrats get into office, you get a middle finger. I mean, in Chicago right now, the pushback from the Black community towards the Democratic Party is something that I have never seen before, and it is quite historic. And apparently, the Biden administration just assumed that this all-Black university would be subservient, not cause a ruckus, and be obedient to Joe Biden as he showed up to their university. That wasn't the case because people are not puppets. People are not just tools. ABC News White House correspondent Selena Wang reported that while most of the alumni present at the graduation stood up when Biden was introduced, all but a few students remained seated. The war in Gaza, where Israel has killed more than 35,000 Palestinians since October while receiving billions of dollars in military aid from the Biden administration, was directly mentioned by valedictorian Deangelo Fletcher, who had placed a Palestinian flag motif on his graduation cap. It is my stance as a Morehouse man, nay, as a human being, to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, said Fletcher, as Biden sat behind him and applauded. From the comfort of our homes, we watch an unprecedented number of civilians mourn the loss of men, women, and children while calling for the release of all hostages. Some students and the faculty turned their backs when the president gave his address, in which he said he supports peaceful, nonviolent protests. Other students walked out of the ceremony, but Biden's speech was not disrupted like the last time he addressed a group of college students at George Mason University when protesters interrupted him 10 times. Biden has been rebuked by the First Amendment advocates for suggesting the Palestinian solidarity and anti-war protests that have been spread across the college campuses in recent weeks are inherently anti-Semitic, and for failing to speak out against aggressive policy responses to protests at schools, including Emory University, Columbia University, University of Texas at Austin, and let's not forget the University of Chicago as well. It's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That's why I call for an immediate ceasefire to stop the fighting, bring the hostages home, said the president, adding that he is working around the clock to secure a two-state solution in the Middle East and to ensure aid is allowed into Gaza, where key border crossings are now closed by Israel. So we already know that the Biden administration is full of shite. We already know that the Biden administration is not going to follow through with any of its promises. And a two-state solution, as we have been talking about this crisis, we have played videos and read articles from Netanyahu's own words that he is not on board with a two-state solution. He's not going to do that. And yet Biden still keeps on saying it. So you know he's not being serious. And you know his advisors have just given up and telling him, hey, don't say a two-state solution because Netanyahu's not going to want to do it. This is the problem. This is an issue. And yet the Democrats feel, they're theorizing, that people are not going to speak out against him and his administration. Does it come as any surprise that young people are not excited to vote for Biden? Does it come as a surprise that people are actually giving the Democrats a middle finger that they rightfully deserve? I want to play this speech one more time from this young man, because it should show you not only was the president in the background, overall how pathetic the entire Democratic Party is. And yet his advisors told Biden, go to Morehouse University. You won't get any trouble from black people. I mean, I'm willing to bet that that's what they were thinking. Maybe they might not have said it word for word, but they made an assumption that there would be no trouble for Biden. And yet there is Joe Biden in the background, sitting clueless as ever, as foolish as ever, while this young man here speaks truth to power.
We've heard the global community sing one harmonious song that transcends language and culture. It is my stance as a Morehouse man, nay, as a human being, to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
There's the president clapping in the background like a clown. He's not even there. His brain isn't functioning.
Hear the people of this world. Sing the song of righteous justice. Thank you.
And does the president even care? He claps. He claps and that's it. He didn't pay attention. What can we take away from this whole story? The Democrats are going to assume that voters, be they black people or white people, Latinos, Asian, men, women, doesn't matter what generation, color your skin, who you worship, they're going to assume that you're going to fall in line. And if Joe Biden and his administration viewed the students at Morehouse University as being subservient or they wouldn't cause trouble, this young man's words, as well as the actions of the students, show the Democrats something else, that people are not toys, that people are not puppets. And we are tired of the two-party system. We're tired of the lies. Everyone is tired of the lies. And know this, Biden does have the power to do the right thing. Biden does have the power, theoretically, to call for a ceasefire. He could, if he wanted to. But that's not going to happen. As I've said before, our politicians, both Democrat and Republicans, have been bought by AIPAC and other pro-Israeli lobby groups. And those groups invested well into our sick system. Nothing will fundamentally change until people start speaking out more, like how this young man just did.